Hello and welcome to my 12 Days of Epic Games series, where over the 12 days of Christmas I'm trying out 12 different games that I've received through Epic Games giveaways, and we're going to try them all out, see if we like them, see if we want to continue them online via Let's Play or stream, continue them offline by myself, or just drop them and then I know for future reference whether they should be staying in my backlog or not. That's the goal of this series, is I get to try out so many different games and share them and see how we get on with them. And so today is day 5 and this game is The First Tree. The First Tree was released in 2017 and developed by David Wheely. I apologize for not being able to pronounce this name. And I have a description here. It goes, a beautiful third-person exploration game centered around two parallel stories, a fox trying to find her missing family, and a son reconnecting with his estranged father in Alaska. Uncover artifacts from the son's life as he becomes intertwined with the fox's journey toward the first tree. So that's pretty much all I know about this game. As I was making my selection for the 12 days, I had 3 similar games for this slot. Well, I'm saying similar. They just look similar from outside perspective. The First Tree, Spirit of the North, and Never Alone. I ended up picking The First Tree. I couldn't really tell you why, but I just thought, let's start with this one, and then, maybe next year I'll pick another one if I do this again next year. So basically, I would like to play them all so that I can have the knowledge about the differences of the games, rather than thinking that they look relatively similar with themes of nature and, fox-type creatures. I'm sure the gameplay and themes are probably very different. So we're going to have to start somewhere, and that is with The First Tree today. So I'm going to play for an hour or two, see how we get on. Probably more like an hour for a game like this. I think it's going to be quite narrative focused and linear, so let's jump in. I mean, again, I'm making assumptions here. I don't actually know if it's going to be linear or narrative focused, but based on that description of intertwining stories, it looks cold. It looks beautiful, but it also looks cold. I was hoping it's not going to be super emotional, but hearing this music and seeing this aesthetic, I'm slightly concerned already.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. You should get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know. It seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
Alright. So are we the dream of this guy? I have no idea if we're real or not, if we're this dream. I didn't want to go too far in case I accidentally moved the cutscene on, the audio. But let's climb up towards the sun, see if there's anything up here. Aha. Oh, we have a double jump. We are a very spry fox. Whee! Okay, presumably actually the cutscenes are kind of timed enough that we wouldn't be able to cut them off by moving too far ahead. I also don't know how much exploring I should be doing, where I'm even headed. Like, up felt like the vibe that they were going for, so let's just head up. We can also like toggle out a run here, so I'm just gonna leave it on. I didn't get a lot from what they said just there about there's been some hardships, and he was like, dreams aren't supposed to make sense. I don't know how much I agree with that. You joking?
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
Dead baby? Oh. Well, there's nothing I can do here. That's very sad. Why did I choose this game? Is the question.
She couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other 2 children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
Okay. So that was one of our 3 cubs. That one didn't make it. We obviously don't have any prior knowledge of what happened here.
The fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
So the story starts with loss. So perhaps he's lost someone too. I see the tree there in the distance. There's lots of birds between us and it. So the first tree, that's got to be the kind of mythical thing that we're looking for answers from. I'm gonna guess. I can see lights flickering all over the place. Oh, hold on. There's like something over there too. Okay, I feel like I just have free reign here. Let's just go this way for a second, but I want to go over there. There's some swirly lights. Yeah, I could see these here. Oh, I feel like we could keep going in any direction and find something. This one looks especially different, so I'm gonna go this way first. Oops. So I wonder what these lights are representing. He said they all have a story of their own. Perhaps it's like the people that help us, or, you know, the granules of the whole. Who knows? It's all very vague at this point. What is that over there? It's a children's playground tower slide thing. Right, this is what I could see from the distance.
As a kid, did you ever do show and tell in your class?
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friends had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Kids are mean.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. I mean, as a kid, you don't know that, but Like, with that kind of thing, just own the thing that you like, you know? They're the idiots for making fun of you, in my opinion. So we're gonna go around collecting all of these lights. We're gonna find, like, items. I guess that's what the swirly light was. Memories, I guess. So he did say that in the dream, his story was intertwined with the foxes. So I do think that this is the dream. There's obviously some childhood stuff going on here. Oh wait, us as the fox cub just lost our child. And then there's lots of kids' toys and stuff around here. Although, I don't know, if it was something like that, I think it would be heavily affecting her too. And she wouldn't be like, come on, talk about it. She would be like, I know. Presumably we can just head straight for the tree, but it's quite open. These kind of things you don't want to miss, like what might give you a story bit. Like school boards. I feel so magical when I do my double jump. Absolutely magical fox. Oops. Oh, there's something very shiny up there. I was thinking it's a bit hard to see where the shines are sometimes. Oh, there's one down there. Because the sun is casting these, like, glows, but probably half of those glows are the shiny things. I wonder if it's just up to us how much exploration we want to do. Because the path looked direct, but it doesn't look like we maybe don't have to solve a puzzle or anything. We haven't been, like, presented with a puzzle yet.
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a serviceman.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I'd pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
Okay, that sounds like he's still alive. So, this show and tell where his toy wasn't cool enough really drove a wedge in the relationship. This is what... Oh, I'm gonna sound so intolerant here. This is why I hate kids, man. Why would something not cool enough be enough of a thing to drive a wedge between a relationship? Like, it's such a minor thing. Life is too short. But you have to, I guess, experience a bunch of life to learn that lesson. And it sounds like a lot more went on in this story, I guess, than what just happened. Because what kind of closure do we need? Something must have happened. That's making me feel super self-conscious. I was considering whether I could make something for my nephews for Christmas. And now I'm like, maybe not. It won't be cool enough. Maybe it'll just ruin their life instead. Like, clearly taking this thing to the show and tell means it meant something to the kid. We also have... Okay, so we're finding... So far, everything we've found has been these wooden carved toys. That one is a duck on wheels. Right, so I think that's as far as we can go in this direction. Now do we test if there's fall damage? I think we're gonna take a leap. And we're gonna head to that light straight in front of us this time. Oh my god. No fall damage necessary. I really like the pinks in the light, in the environment. It's the pinks that are really setting it off for me, I think. Like, sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of pink. It really depends. But this is just, the color palette is real nice. It's doing it for me. I could just look at it all day. Makes me like curious how it all works. Look at the way that the sun is reflecting and the pink is moving with the reflections. Like, how on earth do they make this stuff? It's amazing. So we have a shiny light up there between those trees, I think. Not the sun, a different one. But I'm gonna head for this one first. God, it just gets prettier. Like, look at it from here. Not only is it on the floor beneath us, but in the mountains around us. All the colors. Let's just hope it's nighttime and it's a sunset, because that means red sky at night, Shepherd's Delight, means that we're gonna have a nice day. Whereas if it's morning, that's a warning. That's bad. Bad news.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
A train?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
The lumberjack is the person chopping down the trees, right? So at that point, for his profession, he's not carving, he is doing the chopping. And then it's a carpenter, right? Is the person who actually builds things out of wood. But I suppose he's not building things, he is carving things. Maybe that is just a wood carver. I'd be very interested in learning to carve wood. Like, I mean, not necessarily get right into it, but I would definitely be interested. So we're finding these, like, army-looking vehicles all about as well. I wonder if our father has got a terminal diagnosis of something, and we have to go and see him before he dies. Oh, look! Oh, shit! Oh, it's rabbits. I thought it was my kids. Right, I want to leave the rabbits alone, but I just want to see if anything happens as well. No, nothing happens. Thank goodness. I didn't actually want to hurt the rabbit. Alright, so there's a light up there, there's light up there, and then we go that way. I've got a little bit of a route mapped out, at least. What is this? Like a shelter? Impromptu shelter? With like dried Russian food? Or is that just noodles? I can't tell. Yeah, because it's definitely giving emotional vibes, right? So nothing good can come from whatever's happened. But it's also so heavily revolving around our father. Our father in our childhood. It kind of seems like the things that you would be reflecting on at that time. Is this a microwave made out of a cardboard box? I hope I'm very wrong, though. But like, if that was the case, would oh, I found some more stuff. Would the fox that we're playing now, would that be the character who's doing the voiceover, or would that be the dad? More kid things destroyed. I mean, I suppose I suppose the kids things destroyed feels representative of a not happy childhood. It's all very like, if this was not snowy, it feels like it would be overgrown by nature, but instead it's just been overgrown by snow, like reclaimed by the land. Because it hasn't, that tends to happen to things that haven't been nurtured. That is a very, like, metal bus. I've got to admit, I think... Oh god, I'm stuck. I think in my dreamscape, my past would also look like this. But that's kind of by choice. I think it's okay to let things go and leave things behind. And I'm not talking about the parental relationship here, but just childhood memories and stuff. I don't like thinking about my childhood at all. I kind of want it to be buried in the snow, and I feel happy to leave it behind.
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
I mean, so he was like, oh god, oh, we're gonna have to jump off here. I think we're done up here anyway. So I mean, he was a loner child. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with that. Obviously, he managed to, like, that sounds lonely as hell, right? Like, we are designed, well, we're not designed, but we are supposed to have at least some other people in our lives, but it sounds like he resolved that. Like, she seems very close to him. So that's pretty good. Renting an apartment together. But like, I don't know, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a lone child either. Like, I mean, I suppose maybe there is in some ways. Like, it's a bit worrying. You want people to fit in socially and stuff. But people tend to get there eventually. It just takes time. Oh. Oh, we're in a new area. Okay. The dream has moved on. Maybe we're not in childhood anymore. So that was winter, right? That was very savage and harsh. This feels more... I can't even tell. It's not quite autumn. It doesn't really look like spring though either. Not sure what season this is. Perhaps it is spring. These are the new leaves, but it looks more like autumn. And they're gonna start dropping. Yeah, look, it's some orange tones.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom. So I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages,
okay, not
break
Sam.
windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
Fireworks. So we're in a teenage... Oh, I like these butterflies. Oh, and the waterfall. In a teenage rebellious stage, which I don't get very much, to be honest with you. Again, I didn't really do that. I've never understood people like doing shitty things to people or property or whatever. Just don't do it. It's asshole behavior. I don't care what age you are. Just don't be an asshole. So I was relating where he was like, I wasn't popular, but I wasn't unpopular. Just forgettable. I get that. That is very apt. But then don't go around causing friggin' trouble for people, man. Very annoying. Ooh, this is different. It was still linking back to his dad though. And also, don't blame your dad for like trying to provide for you. I mean, I guess I can't really judge that super well. Oh, does this give us like more height? Because every situation is different and we don't know how present the dad actually was. But they seem to care at least somewhat. And I don't know, man. Maybe I am misremembering what it's like to be a teenager, but I felt very in charge of my own decisions when I was a teenager. So I don't like excuses being made. I think I'm being a bit harsh here. I can only, I guess, talk about my own experience and try to understand a little bit. It's just my what's it called? My disdain, is that the word, for kids and teenagers coming through. I've been feeling that a lot lately. For various reasons. I have my reasons.
And my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they'd come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage and how we should take it for a spin. I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
Yeah, and so they friggin' should. They just sound like terrible people that I do not want to be around at all. I see the symbolism that's happened here, the borrowed wings that we've just done, stuff like that. We saw the bottle rocket thing over there, but that just sounds so dangerous. You could literally kill someone, right? If you're gonna cause trouble to yourself, but don't then take someone with you, you know? That annoys me too, because it literally does happen, is the thing. I haven't seen it in person, but I've read plenty of stories about things that happen way too close to home even. Like, people die from this shit. Don't just steal cars and take them out when you don't even know how to drive, speeding around. I'm very much not relating to this main character right now, if you can tell. I'm like Little Miss Perfect over here. I apologize for that. This is gorgeous though. Kind of feels like it is autumn, but they don't want to put too much orange in because we are orange, you know, and we don't want to take away from the fox's beauty. We haven't found the other two cubs yet, or even a trace of them. Man, I love butterflies. I would love to go somewhere like this right now in real life and just Just be around the butterflies and just watch the way they move. And just breathe. That's my kind of zen right now. Right, so we got some more borrowed wings. I guess I didn't need to climb up here. However, I see a truck up there and I'm like, is that the one they stole? Let's see if I can climb up this side. Because there is something we need to pick up over there too. Oh no. No! Climb, Fox, climb! No. I'll have to try that again. Maybe from IKEA, potentially? Let's go and grab the story, and then we'll go and grab the butterflies again. Have another attempt.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window.
What an
In my
asshole!
sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but...
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
Alright. I apologize for the little jump cut there. I had to just go and sort something out, but I am back. Right. I'm gonna stop being so mean about this kid. But at the same time, like, I do feel sorry for this dad. He's obviously blaming himself. But, like, I don't know, man. I feel like 15 years old, you're old enough. When I was 15, okay, not to talk about myself again. When I was 15, I was like, really studying for my GCSEs and stuff. Like, oh, I wonder if there's something behind this waterfall. Oh! Oh, well, I'm I'm behind the waterfall. There's nothing here though. Okay. Yeah, like, so I'm just saying, it doesn't... I don't like it when people are like, oh, but you were this age. Like, you're a teenager. Every teenager does it. It's just not true. Just not true at all. Oh, I've just gotten rid of my butterflies. I don't know why those butterflies are down there, actually. I think I might be missing some idea of what I'm doing here. I don't know how to get up to that truck. Oh, okay, I'm going that way. Well, I've tried to get up to that truck numerous ways, so let's just go and see if we can leap that wall now. We're definitely missing something up there though, but I think it might just be one of those lights. And we don't seem to be like spending them on anything. I'm not exactly sure whether it's like a collectible for achievements or what. I did see something over here, so I'm gonna take a quick little look. Like, I think that Dad did right telling him to go out and find his cassette. Like, it's so rude to just throw it out after he's the one that caused the problem. Barbershop. Oh, we haven't heard about the barbershop. I suppose he's like craving attention, potentially. Like, yeah, maybe that's what it is, because the dad's like, oh, we need to collect all of them at once. Yeah, I wonder if we need to get multiple butterflies. But how do we do that? Because to jump, we're gonna lose some of them. We need to go for the hardest ones first, right? Okay, I got a plan. I think I see it. I didn't realize the more butterflies we have, the higher that we can fly. That'll be how we get up to the truck. So that means we should go to the chunk first and then do this again. Okay, I think we can get the rest without jumping. It's a shame we can't recruit these other butterflies that are just ambiently flying around. Alright, let's remember this is all a dream about symbolism, so... Oh, well, I'm not getting that light up there. These butterflies are borrowed wings. Who are they borrowed from? And what is the idea? Perhaps his friends? He, like, thinks that they're boosting him up? Whoa! Ooh, I nearly missed. This is a truck. I just feel like you should be able to leave your teenage kid at home without having to worry that they're gonna steal your car. That's all. Okay, we got up here. I kind of thought there might be a story bit up there, but I suppose there wasn't one of those big flashy things. So I guess not. I could see if I can get this light before I get my 3 butterflies back again. Just while I'm here. Oh, it's alright. I don't need it. Let's go and get that one up there first, because if I then come back with all the butterflies and try and do it again, I'll have to climb up here again. This waterfall is so loud. It sounds like my washing machine is on spin mode in the background. But it's not. It is 100% just the waterfall. Thumping off the rocks. Right. It did look like we needed a 3 to get over there, so... Let's not just half-ass it with the 2. Let's finish what we started. And then I wonder if that'll take us into another period of his life. I've got a feeling in this like hour that we're spending with this game, we're not gonna get to the bottom of anything.
My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was, and I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time.
I mean, that's fair enough. Okay, I understand the metaphor of the mountains. I understand how hard it is to leave home, especially if like you think you have a life here and then like a life laid out for you, but it's not the life that you want. Like, oh, I nearly missed. Like, that just sounds like misery, and it is a huge mountain that you would need to climb. Oh, this is pretty. a huge mountain that you need to climb to be able to leave. It's hard, but it's your life too. You can do what you want with it. I suppose some people don't realize that though. Okay. I suppose if you've never really been told that, how are you supposed to know? I wonder, so we're in like a big open field now with like geysers and stuff. I wonder what this.
If there was some
this
way
is.
I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
So, yeah, he doesn't sound all that different from his dad. I don't think his dad necessarily wanted to be cutting down the trees, you know? His painting or drawing was his wood carving. He was a creative too. And he did that after he'd done the wood cutting, which he was doing to provide for his family. Oh. Oh. It's a little unclear what is going to take you into a new area and what isn't. Okay, this feels very, like, summery. Okay, I feel like we gotta follow the light as the main path. We may have missed some stuff back there, I'm unsure. But we're here now, so we should embrace it. Let's see what we can find while we're here. Oh, a mattress. It's a mattress with like cans around it. Is this his attempt to leave? I'm not seeing any shinies over this way. Oh, there's some. I wonder if this is his attempt to leave. So, I don't know much about Alaska. It's cold, right? As he keeps talking about the icy mountains. There's perhaps not as many opportunities as he would hope for because it's like large, it's huge, but not all, what's it called? Habited, right? It's sparse. And there's perhaps not as much opportunities as he would like there. And quite lonely. And I mean, I don't think anyone would blame anyone for not being suited to that. The same way that some people are suited to that. But you don't know until you try different things out. So, I mean, yeah, leave. See if you can figure something else out. Meet other people. I guess that's what he did. Find where you feel like you belong. It's just with something like that, you're always gonna have this maybe never a full sense of belonging, because there's gonna be part of you at home too, where you first lived. One of 3. Like boulders to stand on. Camping gear over there. Now I'm not sure if that's his dad's or if that's his. This boulder sounds magic, but I don't really know what it did. Doesn't really seem like a viewpoint, because everything seems like a viewpoint. Okay, I can see a light into the sky over there. But perhaps we should kind of keep to the perimeter a little bit. Navigation isn't easy in this game, I will say that. I mean, it gives you the freedom, but there's not a lot of guidance about where to go, I feel. Like, I don't feel like the game's nudging me to go in a certain place or not. I wonder if we're gonna start, hearing about his journey leaving. I wonder if he's feeling some regret for leaving his father. I wonder if his father, like, didn't want him to leave and took it badly. This is a barn. At this point, this game does not feel about the fox at all. The fox is just
there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
Okay. So, I mean, sounds like his dad had an imagination, and he also had an imagination. I'm just seeing more and more similarities between himself and his dad than maybe he would like to admit. And maybe he has this resentment. And this spite. I mean, perhaps the spite eased as he got older. We just haven't got there yet. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just can't relate. I can relate to growing up somewhere that I dislike. But can't be blaming everyone else for that, you know? Like, you get what you're given and then you make what you can out of it. Oh, there's another one of those stones. Then presumably there's going to be one over in that direction too. I think I see some more lights over there as well. I hope this doesn't move me on.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out.
You got a carving knife?
For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6.
The first tree.
I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, And he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
Oh, I'm so glad that he finally realized. That dad just seemed like he was trying so hard to connect with his son, who was just not accepting it. And then how hard can you try? Like, eventually you're gonna want to give up, right? But he didn't. He just kept trying. Ah, what a guy. It sounds like a good dad. I don't know, maybe there's parts that I'm being ignorant about, but so far it just seems like a good dad.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving
A bird
stuff.
nest.
He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set.
I love that.
Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
I'm so glad they managed to have that relationship. That is something I think that happens that you kind of don't get told about is, you know, when you're a teenager, you do kind of pull away from your parents and rebel a little bit. But as you get a little older and a bit more mature, then you get closer to them again, and you do start understanding what they have been through. They are just people too. Like, I feel like as a teenager, you kind of almost led to believe there's something else. Then the older you get, you just find out that they are just people, the same as you, just doing their best to get by. And you can have this new relationship with them. And I think that's so special. And I just... no trespassers. I just wish that that was something you could figure out earlier. Like, just skip the phase of thinking that you know everything when actually you know nothing. Like, I wish that that was possible. Because, it must just, like, be so hard as a parent to go through that stage. When, like, I've seen what people go through to try and be the best parent that they can be. Like, even before the kid has a working memory of that. And then they just don't give a shit when they get to that age for a while. But it's, I guess this dad was persistent, and that's what you gotta be.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on, just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. Then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
I think he did. Obviously, he left like he wanted to, and I think maybe because he had this relationship with his dad and then he left, he's maybe just feeling that guilt about... I'm starting to wonder, when she said see him again, what if he has died already and you just, you know, the funeral class is seeing someone again? I'm not sure. I haven't found the third rock. Also, I saw that computer back there. We had a computer like that too. That was definitely the dial-up days of the internet. But he's probably maybe grieving the time that he spent not knowing that his dad cared so much about him. Especially now if there's no time left. I mean, that might not be the case. We don't know. I hear water. What a cool hobby though, like going out and literally mapping the area. I have no idea where this water noise is coming from. I am a little lost. There is a light up on that hill, no? There's a light somewhere. Oh, it's this way. Well, we can't read it. That doesn't bode well for my theory that I was just talking about. The light is like over there. Whoa, the seagulls are going mental. Oh man, there's a light all the way over there as well. Are these just... Oh, are these the stones that we've lit up potentially? And we still have to find... Where's that light gone? It's totally the stone. Oh, okay. So if the other light is over that direction somewhere, you would think it's somewhere over here, but I haven't managed to find it. The way the trees are popping in. It looks like they're like rising out of the ground. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if that's my PC. Because it kind of makes it look like a pop-up storybook. And considering we are in a dream, that would make sense. But it also could just be literally that it's popping in. My PC isn't handling it very well. Right, there's some lights that we haven't found, so that's promising. I think finding this third stone is what's gonna open up the next area. Will probably be a good place to leave it for the session. But we have to find it first. We've got 70 lights. Okay, I have climbed up here for no reason. There's nothing up here. So, right, there's the first stone. There's the second one. And we've already been all the way over here, so I may need to look this up. Whoa, there's the trees popping in again. It's a little unsettling if you're not expecting it. It just kind of feels like something is off in your peripheral. You can't really tell what because you're not looking directly at it until you do, and then you're like, oh, the tree. That wasn't normal. Right, so there's the fishing boat. We've been here twice now. Well, there is a big light up there, but I don't know how... Oh no, is that... Is that the other stone that I've just been to? I think I will take a second to look this up and come back with a solution. Alright, I've done some research. I found so much stuff. I watched your video, and there's an entire area that I haven't been to. Also, I think on that hill there may be something that I missed. However, I'm sure we'll end up back there at some point. So, I don't know specifically where it is I need to go, but I need to keep these rocks on my right and just follow them around, and I should find something. An opening. It should lead me to everywhere. Here we go. Everywhere that I would like to go. Okay, so the video that I saw went this way, so I'm gonna follow it because I know that it leads to where I want to go, and then after that we can take the reins back. I certainly haven't got as many stars as the guy in the video did. I have missed some stuff. Also, I did find out it was really hard to just find where the rocks are. Like, all I can find is 100% achievement runs. But I did find that in the level with the rabbits, you could catch them. And there would have been an achievement for that, but I just didn't figure out which button to press. So there's a sneaky star here. And then we're gonna follow this through. Oh, I was like, is that the first tree? No. Yeah, it's through here, which is where the rock is that I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily bothered about finding all the stars. Whoops. Oh. Oh. I would still like to get them if I can get them. Well, shit. I am not stuck. Okay. Okay. That's better. And from here, there it is. The rock that I'm looking for was hidden in this cave. Activated. Sounds like fire. And there is like little glowy lights in the air. Right, that's all that I saw in the video. I don't really know where to go from here. But, well, I did read that some brambles will be cleared somewhere. And I remember seeing brambles, but I don't remember where. So, where did I come from? How do I get out of here now? Really, I'm lost in these caves. Oh, this is where I came from. Oh, crap. There we go. There's a little bit, once you start falling, if you can't get your feet on flat ground again, you cannot jump again, and there's no saving yourself. So, we came in that way. Let's just take a look around here, because I don't know what's over here. If anything. Oh, it loops. Okay. Climbed up this big boulder and there's nothing here? Never mind. Okay, yeah. So that's where we came in. I don't know how I missed this giant cave system. But if I go out the way we came in, I can climb up that hill. I'm thinking the brambles were maybe near the first rock that we found. I'm not 100% sure. Wait. This isn't the way out. I'm lost. As long as we get back out into the open, I'll be able to find my way around, I'm sure. Right, here. These are the rocks that I paused at. There's the hill I want to climb. Let's see if that gets us to wherever it is that we're heading. I don't know what I think of this game on the whole, right? As someone who can be partial to a collectathon, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I guess nowadays I always compare any collectathon that I've played to like Tinykin, like the ultimate collectathon. Tinykin was excellent. And I'm like, I don't know how much... Oh, I did get this one. Okay. I don't know how well I can compare that to this, because that was like... I just wanted to run in every direction at all times and collect all of the things, and there was always something joyful to find. And like, the design was so amazing. And like, the design is nice in this. Obviously, it's telling a much different story. It's going down a more emotional route. And I'm getting more in touch with it now that it's getting more towards his adult years. But, as far as like, there's something to do with the design, not the art design, the game design, where it's just, it's not directing me as well as I would hope that a collectathon would. Okay, I saw this on the thing as well, on the walkthrough. I didn't know exactly where to find it, but this tree looked... Is this the first tree? This is the one that got him to open up because he had his carving in the tree. I don't think I can do anything with it. However, this wasn't open before. This is the brambles that have opened up. So let's just collect these lights, walk through, and see what happens, and then we'll probably call it there for the video. I just wanted to complete this little area. I just thought I'd try and start getting some final thoughts. Oh, there's a wolf. Is that gonna represent that? Oh, I gotta see. I have got to see. Okay. Is this like the way out, but it's being blocked by our path?
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry for everything.
Okay. The perpetrator stood nearby. My dad is dead. So first of all, that was a lie. You'll get to see him again. Doesn't count if they're dead. To me, anyway. It's not the same, you know? Second of all, God, okay, it all makes sense then. The reminiscing, the sadness, the guilt that he's feeling about all those things when he was a teenager. How, again, I think I maybe said it well enough before that he is grieving the time that he lost. I think that's natural. Grief is such a process, and I just don't envy anyone who has to do it, and yet somehow we all have to do it. It's just the worst. Perpetrator. That sounds like he was killed. I don't know in what context. Car accident. Doesn't even sound like that. That sounds kind of like a murder. Oh shit. This is a slippery slope that we're gonna go down right now. But you know, that's grief. Let's see. It's all downhill from here. I wonder what we hope to get from this, because he said it all right there. Yes, I can reminisce, but I can't talk to them again. It's not the same. It's just the worst feeling in the world. Nothing can make that better, to be honest with you. Everything got a little bit duller here too, with the colors. It all looks very harsh ahead. The jagged mountains now. It's not just the beautiful snow-capped mountains that were representative of opportunity and hardship. This just looks tough. And we know that they are there standing between us and other things after we descend this horrible, well, descent. The music is doing work here in this game as well, by the way. As I was looking at the walkthrough, I could hear it in the background. I was like, oh, it is very nice. Very evocative. I mean, the further down we get, the less ahead we can see as well. Which, I mean, that is just perspective. Well, that is just literally perspective, but I guess metaphorically perspective as well. We can kind of only see the mountains that are directly ahead of us, not the ones behind those ones. But I suppose it's better not to. One step at a time. The perpetrator. I keep thinking of him. The dead cope at the beginning. Is that representative of the dad then? Because I did make me think it was going to be about loss. Okay, we've made it to the bottom. Let's go and collect this light and hear the story, and then call it.
I need to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
Oh, God. On that note, that's a letter as well. I suppose because he's not home anymore, maybe the correspondence will have been through letter and stuff. I assume he's talking about the death, but this could have been at any time. Man, what a note to end it on. At least we finally kind of know what this game is about. Like, even the description didn't mention that it was about grief, didn't mention that it was going to be so focused. It talked about the parallel stories, but really it's about the other story, and we're just playing this dream that is representative of what he is going through. I don't really feel like this fox is real. Well, not real as in its own entity within nature doing its own thing. I think this is entirely a construct of this story. I mean, obviously it is anyway, but yeah, I think maybe know what I mean. But yeah, that was the first tree. This game is available all over the place, and I'm pretty sure it regularly goes on sale, but I've also had it given away on different platforms in giveaways. So it's like pretty available if anyone enjoyed that and wanted to see the rest of the story. For me, I think this is going to be a continue offline game. So when I did my 12 Days of Game Pass series a couple of years ago, there was a game on there that I wasn't sure whether I was going to continue or not. And if I did, it was going to be offline. It was called Exo 1. And I'm getting vibes of that with this. Not the gameplay at all. Not the vibes. But just the feeling that I've got where I'm like, I don't know how bothered I am to continue to play this. But I would like to finish it for the sake of finishing it. I'm not like completely, I'm not enthralled. I'm not entirely attached. Like, I mean, I suppose you could probably tell from the way that I was talking about some of the earlier interactions. And I tend to keep a wall up with myself with stories that involve grief for, like, I don't know, trigger reasons, I guess. You know, we've all been through it. Well, I guess no, we all haven't been through it, but most people have. And if you haven't, then, like, it's usually something that you will eventually. And it's just unimaginable, so I don't like to feel it, obviously. So I tend to put up a little wall on these kind of stories. So it doesn't like make me think, oh, I'm desperate to play this. But I would like to see where it goes. I would like to see, I don't know if there's been 5 stages of grief that we've been through. If you consider the levels so far, we've had How did the 5 stages go? Oh, I can't even remember them. Denial. I don't think this has been... I don't think it's correlated with them, to be honest. But where I was going with that, I wonder if it's gonna end with any kind of acceptance, any kind of catharsis. I have no idea, but I'm curious if it does, because generally in a story about grief, you can't just leave it in the depressed part of it, right? Because that's not a... It's not a satisfying conclusion, and it's not the part of grief we want to experience in a fiction. Like, obviously, to an end we can, but you want to hope that it goes somewhere, and I feel like I would like to find out where it does go. So therefore, I think I would continue playing. I'd probably continue playing at the pace that I have played. I'm not being super thorough, just looking around at what I can see and then following the story. So I think that's my plan with this game. Play offline. It's not going to be a YouTube or a stream. Play offline. Just potter on and finish it. And so that I can basically have it in my memory banks and add it to the collection of games that I have played. Which, I don't mean that in a damning way on the game. It's just, I've kind of talked about the little bits of friction that I've had with it as we've gone. And again, that's where I stand with it. It's not drawn me in that way, which is totally fine. Not every game can. Yeah. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it though, and like I said, it's readily available if you would like to see the rest of the story for yourself. I mean, I'm sure there's also Let's Plays if you wanted to see the full story, and it's a short game too, it's not super long. Like, I believe I'm halfway through right now. Obviously, I haven't found everything, so maybe you want to watch a completion playthrough, but I reckon I'm about halfway through, so I'm going to play the rest of it at least, and get to know what happens. And you can too, if you want to go and buy the game wherever you find it. So, that is it for day number 5 of 12 Days of Epic Games. I hope that you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow with another game. I'm pretty looking forward to it. I will see you then. I hope you have fun with that one too. Good night.